Look at your fingers right now. Go ahead. If the first word that comes to your mind is small, this video was made for you, and I'm about to tell you something about your own fingers that most people never find out their entire life. So here's the thing, your fingers have absolutely no muscles inside them. None. Zero. If you squeezed your finger right now trying to find a muscle belly as you'd find in your bicep, there's nothing there, just bone, tendon, and skin. Your fingers are basically puppets. The muscles doing the actual work live up in your forearm. They contract, pull, and send that force down through long, dense tendons that run like cables all the way into your fingertips. Now here's the part that blew my mind when I read it. If those tendons were just running loosely alongside the bone, every time you gripped something, they would bow outward and snap away from your finger like a bowstring flying off a bow. So your body, being the absolute engineering genius that it is, built tiny fibrous rings directly around each tendon to hold them flat against the bone. Those rings are called pulleys, and this is where it gets good. They respond to training. Researchers found that in untrained people, those pulley rings measure between 0.3 and 0.7 millimeters thick, and in people who trained their fingers correctly, they reached 1.2 millimeters, nearly double. And the bone responded too. A 10-year study found cortical bone thickness inside trained fingers increased by nearly a full millimeter and stayed measurably denser than untrained people years later. Now I have to be straight with you. No exercise on earth will make your finger bones longer after puberty. Anyone telling you otherwise is lying. But longer was never the point. Two fingers can be exactly the same length, but one looks thin, bony, underdeveloped, and the other looks thick, solid, like it actually belongs on a strong hand. So here's the exercise. It's called a dead hang. And before you click off thinking you already know what this is, you don't. Because most people who do dead hangs hang from a thick bar with their entire palm. That's not what this is. Now, here is what makes this exercise unique. When you hang from a shallow edge, shallow enough that your palm cannot take over, the entire load goes directly through the tendons and pulleys inside your fingers. The actual structural system inside each finger takes the full mechanical stress. And that stress is exactly what triggers the adaptation. Remember those pulley rings we talked about? The ones that measure between 0.3 and 0.7 millimeters in untrained people? This is the exercise that changed them to 1.2 millimeters in trained athletes. This is the exercise linked to nearly a full millimeter of cortical bone thickening inside the finger itself over a 10-year period. No other exercise in the research does that. So here's exactly how to do it. Find a shallow edge. A hangboard is the ideal tool. You want an edge shallow enough that your fingers are doing the work, not your palm swallowing the grip whole. If you do not have a hangboard yet, the edge of a thick door frame or a pull-up bar where you hang just from your fingertips can work as a starting point. Now hang. 10 seconds on, 6 seconds off. That's 1 rep. Do that up to 12 times per set. 3 sets total, and 8 minutes of rest between sets. I know 8 minutes sounds like a lot, but this is not a cardio workout. You are loading tendons and stimulating bone adaptation. That tissue needs full recovery between sets to generate the adaptation signal. Do this twice a week. Now, this is not optional information. You need to hear this. Sharp pain anywhere in the finger means stop immediately. A sudden pop or snap means stop and get it assessed. The A2 and A4 pulleys are the most commonly injured structures with this exercise when people push too hard and too fast. Persistent swelling after a session means back off. These are your fingers' warning signals, and ignoring them turns a great exercise into an injury. Now, the second exercise. And before I show you how to do it, I want you to understand something that most people never think about. Your grip has different modes. When you wrap your whole hand around a bar, your palm is involved. Your fingers are curled and the load is shared across your entire hand. That is one mode. But there is another mode, one that completely removes the palm from the equation and puts the entire load through the tips of your fingers and your thumb only. That mode is a pinch. And here's something interesting. Most people's pinch strength is dramatically weaker than their regular grip strength, not because their fingers are especially weak, although they probably are, but because pinching is a completely different mechanical demand that almost nobody ever specifically trains. Surgeons actually use pinch strength as a clinical measurement of hand function. Now, when researchers test people on pinch strength for the first time, almost everyone dramatically overestimates how long they can hold it. People who can hang for 30 seconds will drop a pinch in 8. The neural pathway for this specific force pattern is completely underdeveloped in most people, which means the strength gains when you start training come faster than almost anything else you will do for your hands. Here's what to do. Take 2 weight plates and hold them together with a smooth side facing out and pinch them between the pads of your thumb and fingers. The moment your palm gets involved, the load transfers away from the finger and the entire point of the exercise is lost. Now squeeze those plates together hard enough that dropping them would genuinely surprise you, and hold completely still. Just pure isometric tension running through every tendon and pulley in your finger at once. Do 2 to 4 sets for 15 to 25 seconds per hand. And if you have no plates, a thick hardcover book works. A pinch block works. The object does not matter. What matters is that the load is going through the pads of your fingers and your thumb, not your palm. Now, before you touch a hangboard or pick up a plate, you need to do this. And I know warm-ups are the part everyone skips, but for finger training specifically, skipping it is one of the fastest ways to turn a productive session into a 6-week injury. Here's why. Tendons do not have their own blood supply the way muscles do. Muscles get warm fast, blood rushes in, temperature rises, tissue becomes pliable within minutes, but tendons work differently. They are dense, fibrous, and relatively avascular, meaning blood flow to them is limited. They take longer to get ready, and a cold tendon loaded suddenly under high tension is a tendon that is significantly more vulnerable to damage. So before every single session, you are going to spend 1 to 2 minutes doing tendon glides. Here's how it works. Start with your hand completely open, fingers straight, spread them apart as wide as they go, and hold that for a second. Next, curl just the tips of your fingers down, like you're about to scratch a table with your fingernails while keeping the rest of your fingers straight. Now, curl your entire finger into a full fist, fingers all the way into your palm. After that, straighten your fingers back out, but keep them bent at the knuckles, like you're making a flat karate strike with your hand. And finally, back to fully open, fingers straight and spread wide. It takes less time than finding the right song on your playlist. Do it before every single session without exception. Your tendons will not thank you out loud, but they will show up healthy next session, and the session after that, and the session after that.